16 top scientists failed, but one secretary discovered the incredible solution in just 3 minutes. Charlie felt the pressure building as she balanced the weight of her 2 kids' school schedules with the looming uncertainty of her job. Every day, the prestigious energy research lab where she worked as a secretary, nestled in the heart of Chicago, seemed to inch closer to closure. 16 brilliant scientists had poured countless hours, yet their search for a solution to the energy crisis was in vain. The tension hung in the air, thick like summer humidity, making it hard to breathe. As she rushed through the lab's chaotic corridors, juggling files and lunch containers, she couldn't help but notice her colleagues' faces, once bright with hope, now clouded with despair. Charlie made it her mission to lift their spirits, cooking hearty meals that brought a touch of home to the sterile environment. Each dish was imbued with the love of a single mother and the memories of her late grandmother's kitchen, a place filled with warmth and laughter. Yet, despite her efforts, she often felt invisible, a mere shadow behind the esteemed scientists who held advanced degrees and lofty titles. They treated her like a background character in a story that didn't revolve around her. Just a secretary, they'd say as she smiled at them in the hall, a tightness in her chest reminding her how easily hope could crumble. On a day heavy with uncertainty, Charlie found herself in the dusty storage room, sorting through years of neglected documents. It was there, hidden beneath the clutter, that she stumbled upon her grandmother's old handwritten journals. Leafing through the brittle pages, a surge of inspiration coursed through her, a collection of old energy-boosting recipes steeped in tradition, each entry bursting with a wisdom that felt timeless. Charlie's heart raced. Could this be the answer? An idea sparked within her, bright and electric. She felt a passion ignite, something she hadn't experienced in what felt like ages. With renewed purpose, she crafted a plan to present her breakthrough to the team during their next meeting. But when she stood before the lead scientist and his peers, her heart pounding like a bass drum, her vibrant enthusiasm met cold skepticism. "Your thoughts are appreciated, Charlie, but we need scientifically backed solutions," he scoffed, dismissing her proposal without a second thought. A weight crashed onto her shoulders, suffocating her optimism and deepening the craters in her already fragile spirit. Frustration boiled inside her. With trembling hands, she confronted him later, declaring her rightful place at the table. "We can't dismiss practical wisdom just because we lack credentials. This is about all of us, our community." Her voice, steady yet fierce, reverberated against the sterile walls, filling the space with palpable tension. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. Charlie's words lingered in the air, fragile as glass, yet potent with unyielding resolve, challenging the status quo. The moment hung heavy, not just for her but for everyone who felt unheard. As the community meeting approached, the stakes were felt keenly. Charlie was filled with anticipation and anxiety, standing at the precipice between despair and hope. Would her voice still be ignored in the broader discourse? On the way to the stage, moments of doubt flickered through her mind. But she pressed on, determined to speak her truth, wanting to fight for every unsung hero hidden in the shadows of the lab. The crowd watched, their faces a mixture of skepticism and curiosity, as Charlie gathered herself to inspire hope. Would this be the moment she would step out from the shadows, or would the system stifle her dreams yet again? The room buzzed with low murmurs as Charlie stepped onto the platform, vibrant energy emanating from her. She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of expectant eyes upon her. "Thank you all for gathering here today," she began, her voice steady yet somehow softer than she intended. The flickering lights cast a warm hue, as if encouraging her to continue. "I know I'm not a scientist. I may just be a secretary, but I believe I have something worth sharing." Charlie glanced at the skeptical faces scattered throughout the crowd. The lead scientist, Dr. Miller, leaned back in his chair, arms crossed. She felt her heart race, fluttering like a trapped bird, but she pressed on. We've been looking for a revolutionary solution. But what if the answer has been here all along, under our noses? Her eyes sparkled as she spoke about the journal, her grandmother's forgotten recipes infused with tradition. What if we combined these natural energy boosts into something powerful? Something to energize our communities? There was silence, punctuated by the shifting of chairs and the scratching of pens as some took notes. Charlie's pulse quickened. The old ways may seem outdated, but these principles have stood the test of time. She gestured to a chart behind her, illustrating the potential compounds derived from her grandmother's ancient recipes. A collective breath seemed to hold the crowd. We can create something extraordinary together. Dr. Miller shifted, his expression pensive. Charlie, I admire your passion, but we need data, test results, proof. These are mere recipes, not scientific evidence. But what if I can gather that evidence? What if we can integrate community feedback and trials as we revise these recipes? We could get volunteers to participate in tests. We could make it a project, a shared goal. Her voice rose, crackling with energy. We could do something meaningful, something together. Community-led change can lead to scientific advancement. A low murmur spread through the crowd. Charlie sensed it, a flicker of possibility. Someone in the back stood up, a scientist Charlie recognized as David. I think she's onto something. Maybe it's not about changing the corporate system but creating our own system from the ground up. Other voices chimed in. Yes, what if we broke this mold? We could engage the local community. It would create a powerful feedback loop. The buzz grew, each new idea bouncing off the next, an unintentional collaboration growing from the seed of her inspiration, but doubt still loomed over her, heavy like a storm cloud. Had she simply caught a momentary wave of enthusiasm, or was this real? The enthusiasm in the room felt infectious, but how long would it last? The thought clawed at her. Let us take a leap of faith, Charlie urged, her heart pounding in her chest. We could turn this desperation into innovation. The world needs us. We need to try. The room erupted into applause, surprise and hope danced in the air, mingling with new resolve. Charlie felt something shift within her, a crumbling of self-doubt and the birth of resilience. As she stepped down from the stage, she caught sight of Dr. Miller's expression, a mix of admiration and lingering skepticism. For a brief moment, she thought she saw the glimmer of understanding in his eyes. What if, just what if, she could bridge the gap between her world and theirs? Her heart swelled as she pondered the possibilities. Was she ready to lead this charge? To be more than a secretary and become a catalyst for real change? Walking back to her workstation, she couldn't help but feel lighter, freer. But an important question lingered: was this newfound energy enough to turn the tide, or would they fall back into the confines of doubt again? As she began organizing her thoughts for a plan, a sudden knock at her door interrupted her focus. It was a community member, eyes bright with enthusiasm. I heard what you said in there. We want to help you. Could this be the start of something bigger? A real collaboration? Or would the voices of doubt return, drowning out the optimism of the many? The room echoed with the faint sound of the closing door. Charlie turned to the newcomer, a vibrant young woman named Emma, who stood there with her hands clasped, practically sparkling with excitement. Charlie felt a jolt of energy course through her at the sight. Thank you for coming. I was just trying to think of next steps, Charlie said, trying to mask the surge of nerves that crept back in her chest. Emma beamed wider. You sparked something today. Everyone in the community is buzzing. They want to get involved, they want to be part of this. Charlie's heart soared as she crossed her arms against the chill creeping into the room. Really? You think so? Absolutely. We've been waiting for someone to give us a reason to hope. We're tired of waiting for change to come from the top down. Emma leaned forward, her voice bubbling with enthusiasm. We can start organizing community meetings. Rallies, workshops. We can get feedback on those recipes you mentioned. Think about it, people are ready to roll up their sleeves. Images flooded Charlie's mind. She saw tables full of ingredients, neighbors working side by side, laughter spilling into the streets. It was everything she'd dreamed of but had never dared to voice. What if we set up a community kitchen? Emma continued, lost in her own enthusiasm. A place where anyone can come to try out the recipes. We could gather everyone's tastes, ideas on what works and what doesn't, and then report back to your team. Charlie nodded, feeling the spark of something big building within her. Yes. A community kitchen with trial sessions could get everyone on board. We can craft it together. But what if they hate the recipes? Emma waved her hand dismissively, her confidence unfaltering. Then we try something else. It's about the process, right? This isn't just about food, it's about empowerment. Creating something meaningful together might just be the change we need. Just then, Charlie's computer screen lit up with an email alert, the series of scientific updates reminding her of the powerful voices still weighing heavy in her mind. Dr. Miller, the vibrant community, the hunger for change, they all danced around, but there was still a big gap between ideas and evidence. Okay. I'm in. Charlie exclaimed, excitement swirling within her. Let's draft a proposal. We can start talking about community impact and how it ties to our goals. Perfect. I can help with that. Emma's smile radiated warmth, and with every exchange of ideas, Charlie felt more grounded. But just as she began to really believe in the momentum, her phone buzzed with a text. It was Dr. Miller, with a request for a follow-up meeting. Charlie's heart sank momentarily. Was this about her pitch? Was he concerned about scientifically invalidating everything she'd proposed? What's wrong? Emma asked, noticing Charlie's sudden shift in mood. Dr. Miller wants to meet again. She paused, biting her lip. What if he thinks I'm overstepping? What if he shuts this down? Don't you dare let that happen. Emma fired back. You've got something special, Charlie. You have support now, real community support. He's not the only voice that matters. Charlie's determination bubbled once more. The voices of doubt that had once held her captive now began to fade away, replaced by the fire of possibility. Okay, Charlie said, sitting up straight. Let's make a plan. We prepare for that meeting, truly show him what we're capable of. If we present the community's involvement as evidence, it'll change everything. With each word, Charlie felt the shadows of uncertainty retreat, replaced by a fierce resolve. They could prove that data didn't solely reside in labs, it lived and breathed within shared experiences and the hearts of the community. As the two of them dove into drafting a solid plan, consciousness shifted toward the door, anticipation electrifying the room. Would Dr. Miller be ready to embrace a groundbreaking shift, or would he remain anchored in skepticism? In that charged silence, the question lingered, what if this was only the beginning? Would they be brave enough to navigate the storm ahead, or would the winds of doubt threaten to tear them apart? Charlie and Emma worked tirelessly, bouncing ideas off each other as they filled empty pages with words that felt heavy with promise. The weight of the meeting with Dr. Miller loomed over them, but the energy in the room kept them buoyant. They chuckled over coffee-stained notes, scribbled doodles, and half-formed ideas about recipes, all scattered across the table. Okay, what else do we need for the proposal? Emma said, biting the end of her pen. We've got community buy-in, a plan for workshops, and a kitchen, but what about data? Dr. Miller loves his numbers. You're right, Charlie replied, her brow furrowing as she thought. What matters most? The impact on the community. We need before and after statistics to show how this type of engagement can transform health outcomes. Interest in local food systems. I'll reach out to some folks for testimonials. Great. And what if we set up a little survey after the community kitchen sessions? Emma's eyes twinkled with excitement. We can measure satisfaction, what they learned, stuff like that. Yes. Charlie exclaimed. Perfect. It'll give us solid evidence to back all this up. But there you go with the but again, Emma teased, raising an eyebrow. But what if Dr. Miller thinks it's too grassroots? Charlie said, biting her lip again. What if he sees it as fluff and dismisses our approach? Emma plopped her pen down dramatically. Charlie, you're not just throwing glitter in the air. You're building a movement. Can you see the buzz? People want to be a part of something meaningful. They don't need a fancy lab to feel valid. Her words wrapped around Charlie like a cozy blanket. You're right. I know what we're doing matters. But doubt still lurked, gnawing at the edges of her confidence. Determined not to let fear creep back in, Charlie refocused. She shuffled through the ideas they generated, hoping the right pathway would emerge. Then it hit her. What if we incorporated educational components? We can outline the health benefits of the recipes we'll use. People love to learn while they prepare food. Exactly. Emma encouraged, her enthusiasm infectious. That'll show Dr. Miller we're not just tossing ingredients in a pot. This is about knowledge and connection. As they crafted a more cohesive proposal, the clock seemed to race against them, hours dwindling. Emma's excitement intermittently burned against Charlie's quieter anxiety. She took a deep breath and tried to balance the stark difference between their demeanors. I never thought it'd come to this, you know? Charlie said softly. I thought I was just a scientist working in a lab, but now you're leading a revolution. Emma declared, her voice unyielding. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow through the window. For a brief moment, Charlie felt it, the hope, the joy, the sheer potential swirling within her reach. But that familiar doubt crept in. As they finished the proposal, Charlie's phone buzzed again. Dr. Miller's name appeared on the screen. It's tomorrow at 10 a.m., she read aloud, her heart racing. Anxiety rippled through her body. Are you ready? Emma asked, sensing the shift in Charlie's energy. Ready as I can be, she replied with more confidence than she felt, straightening her spine. Charlie's mind raced through every point they needed to address. Would he see the passion, the potential? Remember what we talked about, this isn't just another meeting. This is your moment. Emma said, clenching her fists in encouragement. What if I mess up? Charlie whispered, the weight of the world resting on her shoulders. You won't. Just speak from your heart. They need to hear your voice. Emma smiled, but her bright optimism didn't completely erase Charlie's trepidation. As they both settled into a nervous silence, the impending meeting echoed around them. What awaited beyond that door felt like a crossroads, a chance to forge ahead or fall back. Would Charlie summon the courage to stand firm for the community's voice, or would the pressure inside the room extinguish the flame they had ignited? Tomorrow would reveal everything, and as Charlie looked at Emma, the flicker of hope sparked again. Would it be enough? The next morning arrived with a flurry of nerves for Charlie. The rising sun filtered intensely through her window, illuminating the clutter of notes and coffee cups that surrounded her, a stark reminder of her late-night efforts. Charlie couldn't shake the tight knot of anxiety twisting in her stomach. Today was the day. I can do this, she whispered to herself, as if the words could somehow crystallize her scattered thoughts. Standing before the mirror, she practiced her smile, trying to ignore the quiver in her hands. At least Emma seemed unfazed. Charlie could hear her humming in the kitchen, the sound mingling with the comforting scent of coffee. Emma was an anchor, a beacon of positivity amidst Charlie's storm of self-doubt. When she walked into the kitchen, Emma turned, grinning from ear to ear, a splash of color brightening her outfit. "Look at you, ready to take on the world," Emma said, nudging a cup of steaming coffee toward Charlie, who accepted it as if it were an elixir of courage. "Thanks, what if he doesn't get it, Em?" Charlie's voice trembled slightly. "What if he thinks we're just a couple of dreamers?" Emma shook her head, determination etching her features. "We are dreamers. But we're also doing something real. Just remember, this is about the community, and it's about you. Let that energy shine." Charlie took a deep breath. "Yeah, I'll try." The clock ticked closer to 10. They made their way to the campus. Each footfall felt heavier than the last, as if the weight of expectation pressed down on her shoulders. Arriving in front of Dr. Miller's office, the familiar sterile walls loomed large, reminiscent of so many days spent in a lab where every misstep could lead to failure. They stepped inside, the room filled with a polished professionalism, clinical and cold. Dr. Miller was already seated at the large conference table, 2 other scientists flanking him, laptop screens aglow. Their faces were solemn, eyes trained on her and Emma. "Good morning, ladies," Dr. Miller said, his voice steady. "I hear you have a proposal for us." Charlie's heart raced. She glanced at Emma, who offered a quick nod of encouragement. Taking a lead, Charlie stepped forward, backing away from the precipice of her anxieties. "Thank you for meeting with us," Charlie started, her voice gathering strength. "Emma and I have been working on a community kitchen program designed not just to teach cooking, but to bring people together and educate them about healthy eating." As she spoke, Charlie watched for signs of engagement, empathy in their eyes, nods of understanding. A glimmer of excitement built within her as she began outlining their research and the potential impact on community health. Community kitchens can enhance food security and knowledge, fostering connections among participants, Charlie continued, her passion building as she spoke. "We've gathered testimonials and surveyed similar programs that have had transformative effects, showing significant decreases in diet-related illnesses." Dr. Miller's brow furrowed, and Charlie felt a surge of doubt. What if he wasn't convinced by the data? But Emma leaned in, her excitement spilling over. "And we believe our program offers a unique opportunity for education and empowerment. Each session will come with recipes that highlight the nutritional benefits of local ingredients." Charlie caught a quick glare from Dr. Miller, and her heart sank. It felt like a weight bearing down even harder now. She glanced at Emma, who mouthed, "Keep going." Fueled by that small gesture, Charlie rallied. "We also plan to include a survey to measure effectiveness both before and after the workshops. People don't just want to prepare food, they want to understand it. They want to be part of something larger." Silence followed her words, thick and heavy, filled with anticipation. Charlie held her breath, studying the expressions around the table. Was it hope or skepticism? Dr. Miller spoke again, his voice softer this time. "It's clear you both have put a lot of thought into this. But what makes you believe this can work in our community?" Charlie's stomach lurched. "Because we've seen it in others. We believe in the ability of people to come together, to learn, and to transform their health," she replied, feeling the truth hit her firmly. "We're not just offering recipes, we're building a future." The tension in the room hung heavy, waiting for Dr. Miller's response. Time seemed to stretch as anticipation pulsed around them. The outcome of this meeting could shift everything, her heart beating a chaotic rhythm of hope and fear. All they needed was one chance. What if this was the moment they'd been waiting for? Would Dr. Miller see their vision, or would it fade into another what if? The silence was deafening, and Charlie felt as if the room were closing in on her. Dr. Miller's eyes held steady on her, his expression inscrutable. Moments stretched like an eternity as she fought the urge to fidget. The hum of the air conditioning felt too loud, its monotony contrasting with the whirlwind of emotions raging inside her. Just as the weight of uncertainty threatened to pull her under, Dr. Miller leaned back in his chair, tapping a pen against the polished surface of the table. Let us say we're intrigued, he said slowly, his tone cautious. Your passion is clear. But we need a plan, details on how you intend to implement this. Emma shot Charlie a look that danced between surprise and relief. Who knew they could spark even a flicker of interest amidst such a tough crowd? Charlie exhaled, the knot of tension loosening only slightly. Of course. We have outlines for the curriculum and potential partnerships with local farms and health organizations. Need more than that, one of the other scientists interjected, flicking through a document in front of him. You'll also need funding, community buy-in, and metrics for success. It's a tall order, especially with the current budget constraints. Charlie felt her enthusiasm waver slightly. Those were significant hurdles. But Emma squeezed her hand, her grip firm and reassuring. She knew there was a way through this. We've started connecting with local groups, Charlie continued, her voice carrying more strength. They're eager. There's a real desire for change, and we can harness that. Can you present this at the next community meeting? Dr. Miller asked, an eyebrow raised. Yes. Yes, I can, Charlie replied, feeling a surge of determination. She could picture the community hall, filled with faces. They were ready, they needed this. Good, Dr. Miller said, nodding. Prepare a concise presentation. If we're going to support this, we need it well structured. Show us impact. The meeting ended with a sense of tentative hope. As they exited, Emma was practically bouncing beside Charlie. Did you see that? He wants you to present. This is huge. Charlie couldn't help but smile, a warmth spreading through her. The potential impact ignited a flicker of joy in her heart. Yet a voice of apprehension whispered in her mind, reminding her of all the planning that lay ahead. I have a lot of work to do, Em. It can't just be about passion, I need to have everything in place. Emma planted an encouraging hand on her back. You've got this. Just think about the people who will benefit from what you're doing. Every ounce of effort is worth it. As they left the building, a new wave of energy surrounded Charlie. Maybe today was the first step toward that future they dreamed about. Maybe it was the beginning of something much bigger, but as she drove home, the flicker of excitement was dimmed by the looming pressure. What if they failed? What if she couldn't convince the community? Could they truly inspire lasting change? With so much riding on the next meeting, Charlie realized the only thing scarier than failure was not trying at all. In her heart, a thought set in, what would happen if this idea took off? As uncertainty coiled inside her, she gripped the steering wheel tighter, determination hardening like steel. Little did she know, the biggest challenge was still waiting to unfold, a challenge that could either shatter everything she'd hoped for or propel her toward a breakthrough like she'd never imagined. What would she discover about herself through this journey? Charlie's mind raced as she pulled into her driveway, her heart thudding like a drum. As she turned off the engine, the familiar surroundings of home blurred into the background. The white picket fence seemed to mock her optimism, reminding her of the cozy, normal life she'd led before this whirlwind of ambitions had swept her off her feet. Inside, the kitchen was just as she'd left it. Dishes were piled in the sink, and a stack of mail sat waiting on the counter. But all she could see was the clutter of uncertainty swirling in her mind. She flopped into a chair, forehead resting on her hands. How do I turn this into a real plan? Emma flitted around the kitchen, pouring herself a glass of water. Her eyes sparkled, eager for the next steps, while Charlie battled her insecurities. I'll need to create a compelling story, one that turns our hope into a plan people can rally behind. You're already doing that. Emma encouraged, setting her glass down. You had them on the edge of their seats. Just think about what you want to say. Charlie sighed deeply, closing her eyes. If only it were that easy. She rubbed her temples, feeling the tension settling in. She pictured the community hall and all those receptive faces. What if I freeze? What if I miss something crucial? Charlie breathed. You got this. Emma tilted her head, studying her friend with concern. What's holding you back? Is it just the presentation? A pit of doubt tangled in Charlie's stomach. It's more than just that. It's being vulnerable in front of everyone. I'm not a scientist or an expert. I'm just your everything they need, Emma interrupted softly. You have passion, and that's infectious. People connect with real stories, not just numbers or credentials. Charlie considered Emma's words, feeling warmth in her chest. But if I can't convince them if there's no community support, what's the point of all this? Emma grinned, her enthusiasm unwavering. Then we'll find a way to get that support. Take a step back. What kind of stories resonate with the community? Maybe we should talk about our local farmers, their struggles, and how this program could change lives. A flicker of inspiration sparked within Charlie. Yes. Highlighting their stories could bridge the gap, show how this matters to the community personally. Yes. And you could use images before and after shots of their farms, testimonials from them. People love seeing real impact. Emboldened by Emma's words, Charlie felt her uncertainty begin to melt away. Each challenge seemed less like a mountain and more like a series of manageable foothills. Okay. Charlie's excitement bubbled to the surface. I'll reach out to farmers tomorrow. Maybe they'll agree to collaborate. I'll work on that presentation tonight. Emma's eyes lit up. That's the spirit. I'll help. Let's brainstorm together. The two dove into the task, flipping through old documents, sketching outlines, and brainstorming ideas long into the evening. Laughter and camaraderie filled the air, the weight lifting a little more with every breath. But even as Charlie found her footing, a gnawing fear lingered in the back of her mind. What if the farmers weren't on board? What if she didn't get the support she desperately needed? The uncertainty was a shadow creeping closer. As the clock ticked past midnight, the growing excitement clashed with a harrowing thought: could she really pull this off? The next morning felt fresh, but a storm of uncertainty brewed beneath the surface. Charlie took a deep breath as she stepped out of her house, the sun glinting off the dew-kissed grass. This was at the moment to connect with the ones who could change everything. Would they embrace her vision, or would the walls of fear come crashing down? As she drove toward the farms, the path ahead felt unclear, and the stakes were higher than ever. Would this be the breakthrough she needed, or would fate deal a devastating blow? Charlie's heart raced as she pulled up to the first farm, a quaint little property with a weathered red barn and fields that seemed to stretch endlessly. She could see a figure moving among the crops, stooping to inspect something in the dirt. Taking a deep breath, she stepped out of the car, the crunch of gravel beneath her shoes grounding her thoughts for just a moment. Here goes nothing, she whispered to herself, straightening her back. As she approached, the farmer looked up, wiping sweat from his brow. He was a middle-aged man with a sunburnished face, the kind of person who seemed as sturdy as the land itself. "Hey there," he said, a hint of curiosity in his tone. "Can I help you?" "Hi. I'm Charlie," she started, her voice betraying a hint of nervousness. "I'm working on a new community initiative aimed at supporting local farmers like yourself. I'd love to talk to you about it if you have a moment." His brow furrowed slightly but then softened. "Sure, I've got a few minutes. What's on your mind?" Charlie felt a rush of encouragement. Perhaps this would go better than she imagined. "I want to create a program that helps farmers access resources for sustainable practices. I believe that sharing your story could really resonate with the community," she explained, feeling the words come more easily now that he paused, glancing back at the fields as if weighing her words against his struggles. "Sustainable practices, huh? It can be tough for us out here. Costs are high, and not everyone gets the importance of it." "I understand," Charlie replied, leaning closer, eager to connect. "But I want to show people the real impact it can have. Your work deserves recognition, and we can highlight how sustainable practices are not just about saving the planet, but also about bettering lives, your life, your families, and the community. The farmer looked at her, his expression shifting from skepticism to intrigue. You really think folks would be interested in that? I know they would, Charlie insisted, excitement bubbling within her. I want to share stories like yours, to connect hearts to the cause. It's not just numbers, it's about life and tradition. He nodded slowly, the tension beginning to ease from his posture. All right then. I'll think about it. It's worth a shot. Relief washed over Charlie as she exchanged contact information with him. Thank you. I can send you some more details, and we can discuss how to make this work. With one farmer agreeing to collaborate, Charlie felt her confidence build. Driving to the next farm, she replayed their conversation in her mind, each beat of her heart sinking with a surge of hope. She didn't have all the answers, but today, for the first time in a while, she felt like she was moving forward. The next 2 farms yielded similarly positive responses, and as she returned home, her mind buzzed with inspiration. She couldn't wait to get started on her presentation, to weave the farmers' stories into something powerful. But just as excitement surged, a troubling thought crept back in. What if things took a turn? What if some farmers resisted or dismissed her ideas? Charlie shook her head, determined to focus on the momentum she had built. Yet the uncertainty shadowed her once more, whispering doubts she couldn't quite silence. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the world in hues of orange and purple, Charlie felt the weight of the task ahead. It was more than just gathering stories, it was about igniting change. Taking a deep breath, she reminded herself that even the strongest storms drift away. Charlie settled into a chair at her kitchen table, ready to pen down everything she had learned that day. But just as her pen scratched against the paper, her phone buzzed. An unknown number lit up the screen. Hello? She answered, heart racing. Charlie? It's Tom. We need to talk. I've got news about the grant. Her stomach flipped. What could this mean? Was this the moment she'd been waiting for, or was it another obstacle laid in her path? Charlie gripped the phone tighter, her breath caught somewhere between hope and dread. Tom? What do you mean? Is it good news? There was a pause on the other end. It's complicated. Can you meet me tomorrow? I think it's best to discuss it in person. Okay, she managed, trying to keep her voice steady. Where? I'll come by your place at 10. We need to go over some details, he said before hanging up. Charlie stared at her phone, heart still racing. Complicated? That wasn't what she wanted to hear. She closed her eyes, letting herself imagine the best-case scenario. What if the grant was approved? What if this was the break she needed for her initiative? It was the perfect fuel to bolster her drive, but doubt scratched at the edges of her optimism. That night, sleep eluded her. Images of the farms she'd visited danced in her mind, their stories intertwining with visions of what could happen if her plan came to fruition. She tossed and turned, questions spiraling through her head. What if she couldn't convince enough farmers to participate? What if this was all for nothing? Morning arrived, gray and cloudy, the sky mirroring her mood. She brewed a strong cup of coffee, trying to shake off the mounting anxiety. As she waited, she looked out over her backyard, the leaves rustling in the wind. Memories of childhood lessons about perseverance echoed through her mind, her mother's voice urging her to keep trying, to believe. At 10, Tom arrived. He was all business, a neatly pressed shirt and that look of determination etched across his face. Hey, Charlie, he said, giving her a firm handshake before stepping into her living room. Hey. Come in. Would you like some coffee? Thanks, but let's get to it. There was a tension in his voice that made her stomach twist. They settled at the kitchen table, and Charlie's heart raced as Tom unfolded a few pieces of paper, placing them between them. Here's the proposal we submitted last month. We thought we had a strong chance, but he hesitated, selecting his words carefully. The grant committee had concerns. They felt the project lacked community involvement. Community involvement? Charlie was taken aback. But that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I visited 3 farms just yesterday. I got commitments from. Tom cut her off gently. I know, but they want to see more local farmers on board, more stories. They're looking for evidence that the community is behind this, not just a single voice. The walls felt like they were closing in on her. Was this what she had feared? A door slamming shut, right when she thought it was opening? So, we need more support, then. But I've been working so hard to gain traction. They want to see real energy, a movement, he said, locking his gaze with hers. If you can rally more farmers and show that there's a collective desire for change, it could turn things around. Hope flickered within her again. Maybe it was still possible. What do you suggest? Tom leaned back, a thoughtful look crossing his face. Host a community gathering. Bring everyone together. Let them share their struggles, their dreams. If we can create a buzz, it might just tip the scales in your favor. Charlie nodded slowly, invigorated by the thought. This was the moment they needed. But she felt a pang of uncertainty. How would she get farmers who were used to solitude to come together? I'll help you, Tom added. We can brainstorm ideas and strategies to get them excited. Charlie smiled, a mix of gratitude and determination filling her. If we could just create that sense of community, maybe it could work. But as they talked through ideas, the worries flared once more. Could she truly make them trust her vision? Could she ignite that kind of change? As they mapped out plans, Charlie's heart drummed with a new mix of fear and anticipation. The gathering could be a breakthrough or a bust. That night, she lay awake again, her pulse quickening at the thought of her mission. This was gritty. It mattered. She had to pull this off. Just then, her phone buzzed again. It was an alert from the local news website. She clicked over, eyes widening at the headline, Local Farmers Protest. Claims of unsustainable practices emerge. Her stomach dropped. What could this mean for her plans? Would this be the distraction that derailed everything she'd just begun to build? Tomorrow would be pivotal, but danger always lingered close. How could she transform fear into momentum when challenges piled up like storm clouds? The morning sun broke through the clouds, a soft yet determined light casting hope over Charlie. Today felt different. It was a fresh start, a chance to change everything. As she sipped her coffee, her phone buzzed with attention. Notifications came pouring in. Community members were stirring, eager to support the gathering she announced online. They were excited to share their stories. Charlie felt a swell of energy. Every flicker of encouragement ignited something deep inside her. She hastily prepared for the day, reaching out to the farmers who had shown interest. Would they join her? Taking a deep breath, she dialed the first number. Hi, Mr. Blake. This is Charlie, just checking in about that gathering. His hearty laugh boomed through the receiver. Count me in. I want folks to hear what we face out here. That fueled Charlie's spirit even more. One by one, excitement spread like wildfire. Farmers committed. Community leaders rallied. It was all happening. As the sun began setting, casting a golden hue across the sky, Charlie stepped out, her heart racing. This gathering needed to be purposeful. She wanted faces, stories, dreams all woven together to represent their shared struggles and aspirations. With Emma by her side, they transformed the local community center into a welcoming hub filled with imagery of farmers, fresh produce, and the vibrancy of life. The day of the gathering arrived. Charlie stood at the entrance, nerves fluttering in her stomach. People began to pour in, filling the hall with laughter and chatter. Emma nudged her, "You got this. Just speak to them from your heart." The room hushed as Charlie took the stage, her heart pounding in sync with the anticipation in the air. "Thank you all for coming. I see so many familiar faces, people who bring meaning to our community. Together, we have the power to create change. She shared her vision, showcasing the farmers' stories as focal points. The audience leaned in, captivated by tales of perseverance, crops, dreams, and dashed hopes. It was a tapestry rich with emotion, representing both struggles and victories. "Let us turn this into something bigger," Charlie implored, raising her voice passionately. "Your stories matter. Let us create a program that not only highlights our journey but keeps our community strong." A ripple of excitement surged through the room. Voices emerged, echoing encouragement. "Yes, let us do this. We can support each other." Charlie felt her heart swell as hands shot up, offering ideas and support. The energy was palpable. The banter and claps fueled her soul. This was what she had fought for. Then a familiar face stepped forward, Mr. Blake at the forefront. "I've been hesitant before, but hearing you today, I see how we can come together. I'm in." Others followed suit, promising their support, their stories, and their commitment. Suddenly, the fear that once loomed felt far away. The weight of uncertainty faded, replaced by a powerful surge of unity. In that moment, Charlie realized that she wasn't just a secretary anymore, she was a leader rallying a movement. As the evening progressed, a modest spark turned into a flame, with farmers and community members sharing ideas and tasks. Together, they crafted a plan supporting Charlie's vision, merging their expertise with their enthusiasm. After the gathering, as people trickled out, Charlie and Emma stood in the aftermath, the vibrant energy still swirling in the air. "Did we just do that?" Emma asked, her eyes wide with pride. "Yes. We changed something." Charlie laughed, unveiled joy bubbling over. In that moment, she embraced the euphoric feeling that washed over her. She had forged a path forward. Dr. Miller's email buzzed in her pocket, but Charlie opened it with a sense of empowerment. "We're ready for the proposal," she whispered, heart full at the thought of what lay ahead. With every person she connected with, she faced that initial fear, transforming it into community-driven momentum. Her vision was just a beginning, glowing brightly in the vast expanse of possibility. As the stars twinkled above, illuminating a new dawn, Charlie finally believed in herself as more than just a secretary. She was a vessel for change. Now, dear friends, this is your chance to join this journey. Don't hesitate. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Every click counts. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this inspirational ending, and for goodness sake, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible transformation and be part of the movement. You need to support the channel, and only true fans understand the difference that makes. Don't wait not even one more second. Let us celebrate change together.